drives, but I think people need to realize that Hyundai is a huge global company. We've sold almost 5 million cars last year, which is a huge number. Over 1 million cars in China, close to, what did we do, 800,000 in the US this year, Brendan, right? So we moving a lot of metal. And this car is very significant, and about 500 engineers worked on it in Korea, and it's a real special car for our brand. So I thought I'd start this morning with a question. So how many people in the room have changed a 12-volt lead-acid battery in a car? Okay, almost everyone has done that procedure once. So with some clever engineering, this car has solved that problem. So those are the kind of things that, some fun stories that you'll get out of today's presentation. As always, find me, find Ariel, find Yvonne. If you guys have a question and we can't find the answer, we're not doing our jobs. So I want to make sure you guys get what you need in terms of photography or questions answered. So with that, I think I'm going to turn it over to Brandon. Brandon has been with Hyundai, I think, longer than I have. What, since 04?
Yeah, 13 years.
13 years now. I've only been there 12 years. So, but he's really knowledgeable and very passionate about this car as well. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Brandon. He's got some introductory slides, and then we're going to hear from Doug more about the product stuff. So thanks for coming, everyone. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you on the next one after this one. I'm sure we keep launching cars. So thanks, guys.
Hello, guys. So I'm very excited to talk about the all-new IONIQ. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the market overview before I do a deep dive into the product. Now, as you can see from the top chart, you can see that the dedicated green segment, the share is relatively flat. However, there has been a proliferation of alternative powertrain vehicles. So when you see a comparison between 2010 and 2016, it's significant. So right now, in 2016, there was actually there's 31 HEVs, there's 15 plug-in hybrids, and there's 13 electric vehicles. Now, do you think that's going to stay stagnant? No, it's not. Because as you can see from this chart, there's going to be a lot of these derivatives and a lot of new alternative powertrains coming to the marketplace. Now, one of the reasons for that is CAFE. The CAFE requirement continues to grow larger, as well as the zero emission vehicle requirement. The ZEV mandate also is increasing. So all the OEMs are going to be introducing these alternative powertrain vehicles. Now there is a big shift, a societal shift. We've been hearing it all. It's in demographics, the millennials are starting to grow. And but today, boomers are the key buying source for dedicated green vehicles. Now let me go into this a little further. So what this chart shows you is that top line, those are boomers. Those are the people that bought new vehicle sales. Boomers make up the largest amount of sales. However, when you see millennials, which is a dark blue line, millennials in 2010 represented maybe 20% of the total industry. However, in 2016, that grew to 24%. But by 2020, it's expected that millennials will represent 40% of the market. 40% of the market will be millennials, and a large part it's due to demographics, a change in demographics. Now, currently, the buyers for alternative fuel vehicles are slightly older, more affluent, and college educated. Now when you look at, we have a source called Merits where we understand buyer studies. And what we found is that millennials have a higher buyer preference for alternative fuel vehicles than any other generation. And then when you look and see purchase consideration, you can see in this chart with the blue, that in every case, millennials show greater purchase consideration for hybrids, plug-in hybrids, electric vehicles, as well as hydrogen. So this is significant. Now, let me recap that. 40%, by 2020, 40% will be millennials, and millennials will consider these dedicated green vehicles. Now, when you look at the purchase reasons for these dedicated green vehicles, you'll find that the two most important purchase reasons is fuel economy as well as a fuel type. Now, but when you look at other segments in comparison, like the compact, mid-size, and subcompact CUV, DQR, durability, quality, and reliability, are among the key purchase reasons. Also, value for the money. Now, from Hyundai's side, from a product planning side, it's important to know why these vehicles are avoided. You could see that on the lower chart, you'll see that people thought it cost too much, they didn't like the drive, they didn't like the style, but it's important for us to understand what these avoider reasons are, so that way we can see this unmet need and fulfill that need. So that brings me to the IONIQ product concept. There's three objectives. One, IONIQ is going to be our first dedicated green vehicle. With that, we are the world's first vehicle to have 3 electrified powertrains in HEV, PHEV, as well as electric vehicle. Our second objective was to have an efficient operation and an engaging drive. On efficient operation, with our hybrid, we're going to get 58 combined fuel economy. That's the most in the entire industry without a plug. On engaging drive, what we did is we applied to the hybrid and the PHEV, we applied multi-link suspension. We applied the 6-speed dual clutch transmission rather than a CVT for more natural drive feeling. We also, I know many of you guys did road tests with different tire companies. You know that tires are very important for NVH, handling, ride comfort. Well, we applied Michelin Tire Standard on this vehicle. We also provided 2 distinct driving characters for this. So when you drive today, you're going to be, let's say you're driving the HEV, you're going to be driving it, that's going to be in eco mode all the time. But when you shift to the left, you're in sport mode, and it changes the complete character of the vehicle, so I encourage you guys to do that. Now, the third objective is to provide future-oriented high technology, like automatic emergency braking, blind spot detection. Also, as you know, we have a lifetime warranty, but we have a lifetime hybrid and electric vehicle battery warranty to provide that peace of mind. Now let's talk about the design of the 2017 IONIQ. Now when the designers developed the theme of this, they described it as visual aero. The design was inspired by airflow. And what they would try to do is they tried to deliver a design that is sophisticated, clean, and very modern. Now when you look at the front of the vehicle, it's very progressive. You can see the Hyundai signature hexagon-shaped front grille that's integrated with the headlights, and LED daytime running lights. From the profile, you can see it's very aerodynamic and sleek. You have available 17-inch wheels. The mirrors have turn signal indicators. Also, it has the side sill molding on the profile. Now, when you look at all angles, and from this angle, you can see everything's harmonized. From the front design to the profile to the rear hatchback design, everything is harmonized. Also, it's going to have, from the rear, it's going to have an integrated rear spoiler for aerodynamics. Also, an integrated split window for greater visibility. And it has rear bumper graphics that complement the front. We applied LED lighting so that way it has that modern appearance. So you're going to see that in the headlights, the daytime running lights, and the tail lights. Now, from the electric vehicle, since you know that there's no requirement for thermal management, we provided a unique front fascia. So as you can see, the front grille is essentially sealed with piano black accents. Also, a unique is the 16-inch aero wheels, and as well as the LED taillights. Now, when you get inside the interior, what you're going to find today is the attention to detail inside. So what we did is they described it as purified high-tech. What they wanted to do is have a high-tech interior, but they wanted all the controls to be very intuitive. Now, this is an environmental vehicle, and so what we did was we did apply renewable materials inside the vehicle. So on the headliner, the carpets and the soft touch materials, it's made of partially sugarcane. Also, the door panels are made of recycled plastics, as well as powdered wood, as well as volcanic rock. So we did apply renewable materials in this vehicle to complement the environmentally fuel efficiency. Now, throughout the interior, you're going to see that it's positioned to be high-tech. So we have a standard 7-inch screen with available 8-inch. There's metallic accents throughout the interior. You're going to see that with the steering wheel. You're going to see it with the door sills, and the vents have metallic accents also. Also, in front of the armor storage box, there's going to be a tablet holder as well. There's going to be piano black accents that surround the radio and AC controls. And then when you get inside the vehicles, you'll see the LCD screen on the instrument cluster. Now, for the electric vehicle, similar to the exterior, there's going to be differentiation as well. For example, it's going to have these regenerative braking paddle shifters. So on the left side, when you use that, that increases the amount of regenerative braking. On the right side, that reduces regenerative braking for a more natural coast down. So feel free when you drive the electric vehicle to try these. Also, rather than a lever type, we're going to have the push button driver selector, and that has a futuristic design as well. Now, from a size standpoint, how does this compare to Prius? Well, it's 2 inches wider and 1 inch shorter. And what that does is it has more dynamic proportions, but it also provides even greater room. As you can see from this chart, you'll see that IONIQ has 5 cubic feet of more interior room than Prius. And you guys may have driven the Nero. Well, this has 6 cubic feet of interior room more than the Nero. And IONIQ Electric even has more interior room than the Bolt as well as the Leaf. Now, from a product planning standpoint, it's kind of exciting to talk about first. So, as we mentioned, this is the first vehicle in the world to have 3 electrified powertrains with the hybrid, the plug-in hybrid, as well as the electric vehicle. Now, we know that all people are different, so we offer this power of choice. Maybe the electric vehicle won't be ideal for one person, but a hybrid will, or a plug-in hybrid will. The great thing is we offer the consumer the power of choice. We're the first in aerodynamics. So we have a coefficient of drag of 0.24, and we do that with the wheel air curtains. We do that with the sleek profile, the integrated rear spoiler, as well as the underbody covers underneath the vehicle. Now, what's the benefit of aerodynamics? It's fuel efficiency. So we talked about how this is the first in hybrid fuel efficiency. Actually, in fuel economy, at 58 miles combined for an IONIQ Blue, that is the most fuel efficient vehicle in America without a plug. Now, I want to just point out some of the competitors. Prius Eco is at 56. IONIQ, the other trims, is at 55. Prius, for the majority of the trims, is 52. And Nero is at 49 for the non-FE version. But you can see that this is the first time Hyundai has come out with a dedicated green vehicle, so it's a tremendous accomplishment for the engineers that developed this vehicle. So this shows you that we're the first in EV efficiency. So at 136 mpge, that is the most fuel efficient, and you can see with the Bolt, that's at 119. Now the EPA, what they do is they calculate the cost to travel 25 miles. And based off of this, we're the first in efficiency, operating costs. So for the EV, it has a cost of 81 cents to drive 25 miles. Now the Bolt is 92 cents. For IONIQ Hybrid Blue, that's only $1 to travel 25 miles. And that is the least operating cost in any vehicle without a plug. Now the average car, it costs $2.24 to drive 25 miles. Now we talk about efficiency. Now this chart is important. This is all how we compare, how IONIQ Electric compares to the competition. So as you can see right here, so IONIQ uses significantly less kilowatt per hour than the competition. So let's look at Bolt. So IONIQ is 12%, has 12% better efficiency than the Bolt, and generates less than 450 kilowatts used. And look at the Model S. IONIQ is 31% more efficient than the Model S, and the Model S generates 1650 kilowatts per hour. So it's our job as product planners, being part of the OEM, being part of the automakers, to translate this message that there is a value in creating an efficient vehicle. Now on the next slide, this is important because although an electric vehicle has zero emissions, to generate electricity, 67% of the electricity is utilized by fossil fuels. Now what we want to do is we want to reduce that amount. By being more efficient, we reduce fossil fuels, consumption of fossil fuels. So that is another viewpoint. Now when we develop this car, you're going to think, hey, this is a Prius fighter. No, what we set out to do with this vehicle is to develop a great compact car with a great price that starts at $22,200. That provides safety, fuel efficiency, high-tech features. And when you drive today, think about that. Hey, this is a great car. This is like a Cruze or a Focus, but I get best-in-class fuel efficiency. So now I want to welcome Doug Chain. He's the assistant manager of the IONIQ. Please welcome Doug.
Thanks, Brandon. Good morning, everyone. So a couple of weeks ago, I had a chance to meet Dr. Glenn Kim, who's the head of team leader for the IONIQ's development over in our Namyang R&D Center in Korea. And I'd like to take the opportunity to really congratulate him and thank him and his team for developing the IONIQ. A project that they lovingly called Mission Impossible. And they call it that because they were given two design objectives. The first is class-leading efficiency, and the second, the impossible part, was to have no compromises in terms of driving dynamics, which I'll cover a little bit later. So in order to get to class-leading efficiency, the team developed a brand new Kappa 1.6-liter GDI engine. This has the industry's highest thermal efficiency of 40%. And they were able to do that by just throwing every single bag in the trig. So Atkinson cycle, long stroke bore ratio, and etc. We also developed an all-new dual clutch transmission. This is the first for Hyundai that's paired with an electric motor. And what you'll see later on today is the DCT engine pairs really well with our electric motor because the electric motor provides instant torque. And so it's a really, really good pairing that you'll get to experience later today. And of course, as far as the battery is concerned, we continue to use lithium-ion polymer, which is superior in many aspects compared to nickel metal hydride. So when we talk a little bit about the battery, there's two things I want to highlight here. One of them is the positioning. The battery pack is positioned beneath the rear seats. And what that does is it increases cargo capacity and also it improves center of gravity, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But the second one, and Miles kind of stole my thunder here, is this is the industry's first consolidated 12-volt battery. So how this works is there's actually no standard 12-volt battery. We use 4 of the cells from the battery, the lithium-ion battery pack, and that's dedicated to the accessories of the vehicle, starting the car. What happens is if you drain these cells completely, there's a reset button right next to the fuel tank. You press that and the general battery pack will help charge the battery so you can start your car again. And so, of course, there's a couple of benefits here. One, this reduces vehicle weight by about 26 pounds. Secondly, it also improves cargo space. But of course, what we're really excited about is this really improves the safety and convenience for our drivers. obviously the biggest reason people use roadside assistance is for roadside charging, and there's never a good time to jumpstart your car. So very, very excited feature for us.